my name is David Chislett, and along with my co-founder, Alia Sandovar, we welcome you to the Playful Creative Summit for 2021. As you know, the summit is a fun-filled 5-day event that helps growth-minded and playful thinkers, problem solvers, entrepreneurs, experts, and curious onlookers discover new ideas and information. Today, I am here interviewing Tiisetso Maloma from South Africa, and Tiisetso is the author of 7 books, a serial entrepreneur and a speaker whose work marries innovation, evolutionary consumer behavior, and entrepreneurship. So Tiisetso, welcome. It's great to have you here.
Great to be here. Thanks for the invite, and also it's great just seeing you again, man.
It's been a long time.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Just to get you warmed up and into the spirit of things, we're going to do our random question from the bowl of doom. Tiisetso, will you please choose a number between 1 and 9?
1 and 9. Let me go with 6.
6. Your question is,
ooh.
what was your most embarrassing moment when working with a client?
Embarrassing moment working with a client. I think the story that comes top of mind is that it wasn't actually a client. Like, I was negotiating to do some community workshops with a mind, like they have a social responsibility thing going on there. And then, I put in my price, and they said, look, I think the price was around, 200,000. And they said, we can only do 95,000. This is like back some few years ago. And I was like, hey, man, I'm going to try to negotiate you. And I tried to negotiate them. And the next thing, they never answered my calls. They never replied to my emails. So that's so I should have just taken the money.
Well, I don't know. I don't agree with that. Your price is your price for a good reason, right? Otherwise, you're doing too much work for too little pay.
No, true. But I think about that whenever I'm broke. Yeah.
Cool. So Tiisetso, what are you working on at the moment?
Okay. I'm working on actually just a bunch of things, but mainly, or rather maybe what I'm happy being known for. I've got 2 books coming out. One is called Innovate Next. So it marries sort of different frameworks taken from biology in understanding innovation of man-made things. And I think it's also a good framework to understand what's going on. You can say the 4th industrial revolution, even the 5th industrial revolution, it will follow the same patterns as this book. And also I've got another book attached to that. So I'm going to release 2 books. It's called Understanding the 4th Industrial Revolution and Innovation Easily. So that's the things that keep me preoccupied every morning. Okay.
So you're certainly a weapon of mass creation. That's a lot of stuff to be putting out.
Yeah.
Can you unpack for us, what is the connection for you between things like innovation and the 4th Industrial Revolution and this thing we call creativity?
Look, we could take it to biology in terms of how life was sort of it evolved. The biology says life started as single cell organisms, and those single cell organisms performed some sort of incest. They married. And they diversified into the different, biological lives, whether it's plants, it's animals, and the 4 others. So innovation, it's actually mixing 2 things. I think it applies also to innovation of man-made things. When we, combine 2 things to make something that's of utility. For example, a basic example, it's a chair. So a chair, it's made out of what? If you have to dissect it, it's you can say it's wood, if it's a wooden chair, and then a shape, like you think of a geometrical sitting shape that allows human beings to sit, not monkeys, not any other animals, but humans. So when you combine them and carve that wood into that shape, it allows a human being to sit. So it's a fusion. So it gives people utility. And then someone elsewhere discovers how to make steel, and then steel. Okay, someone thinks, okay, I can incorporate steel into a chair. So you get a steel chair or a steel wooden chair. someone out there makes a fabric, and then you can incorporate that fabric into a chair, and then it's cushioning for the chair. So it's innovation. Innovation, it's mixing things to form something that's of utility to man. That's agile. So that's it. It's creativity, just combining things to make things of utility. I think that's the precept in which it's easy to understand this framework of innovation and creativity.
Right. Yeah, I like the word utility, because I think for me, that's the big difference between innovation and creativity. Creativity doesn't necessarily have to have utility. It often does, but I think innovation, of course, must have utility.
Yeah. When you say that, I think of, they say, like, look at expensive painting. Some people would say, that a school kid could have drawn that, but it's selling for millions of dollars. Maybe the utility is that it makes a person feels good, and then they're willing to pay that. I guess that's another form of utility.
True.
Maybe some people could be, when they get in trouble, they can just pick that paper, that painting, and run with it, and then sell it for millions as well. So that's another form of utility.
True.
Yeah.
But now I'm really interested, because now you're busy with 2 books right now.
Sure.
You've put out 5 or 6 already. You're an entrepreneur. You run a business. You give training. Where does this all come from? What is this well of ideas and creative thought that you have? How does that work?
How it works, I think I only realized it later, like that I've got a myriad of interests, and sometimes I think of it as a care, sometimes I just go with it. I remember I started out, like, in terms of creativity, I started out as a DJ, and then I went to making clothes. By schooling, I was an accountant. I worked for a TV production company. I've made other clothing labels, I've written books. Now I'm publishing other authors. So as to where it comes from, I think I'm just, I get bored easily. My hobby is doing a bunch of things. So yeah, like, hobbies for me is just researching something. What can I do? And sometimes it can become problematic. Hence I said, maybe I think of it as a care sometimes, but other times when I have to create, I just embrace it. So it has taken me this far, and I still hope to create more.
Excellent. Where are you when you get these ideas? I mean, I'm thinking back to your t-shirt range, which had some incredible, like, fun stuff in it. Like, where are you when those ideas hit you? What are you doing?
What am I doing? I think of it in that, I've got, multiple interests. Clothing it's also one of my interests. So when you browse down into an interest, you just sort of, get ideas. Maybe I can incorporate something that I saw from DJing into a t-shirt. Maybe I can incorporate, something I saw from doing graphic design elsewhere into clothing. Like all these things, like I said earlier, that innovation, it's a fusion, and then again it just sort of converges. So I'll give you an example. All these things that I've done, they easily converge into the content that I'm writing into books. So as to where it comes from, I think just diving deeper in one interest and then diving deeper in another interest, you've got a package of things to sort of fuse into another and create something that's innovation, that's innovative and expressed in maybe a different product than what you did yesterday.
So you're constantly acquiring new information about different stuff, which you're then taking back to what you've already got to see if you can make something new.
Yeah, and I will add that I'm not doing it I'm doing it out of curiosity. I think I'm just following curiosity, and then it always leads me to the next product. So it's not that I'm forced to, like now I was the last year and the year before, I was sort of studying a lot about evolutionary psychology. It wasn't a matter of, I'm writing a book now, I must study this. It was that because I'm curious and I'm interested in it, and therefore I become easily motivated.
Right. I think that's such an important factor, because I think,
True.
to be really creative and innovative, you've got to be kind of at a base level quite happy. So if you're under pressure to
Yeah.
do things, generally we're not happy, right?
Yeah. So I think that being motivated out of curiosity, it's a big one. But maybe where sometimes it becomes a problem, and then I have to sort of try to schedule everything that I've got. I'm involved in several businesses, and with the business, you're not always doing the things that you love or the tasks that you love. So what I do is that I just try to put all the creative stuff, maybe especially the writing, in the morning, and then I would go for a jog. And during the day, it's kind of like my business are like my 9 to 5, and I will work out through into the evening.
Okay, I think that's a really important tip, because that's actually what I do as well. I'm very structured. And that, I think a lot of people struggle with that idea. It doesn't match this idea of being very creative and coming up with wonderful ideas.
Yeah, because if you just go on with your creativity, I mean, sometimes I derail from that. I think the last year, yesterday and the day before, I sort of derailed and I didn't go to bed happy because I was just, had this creative ideas, and I was Googling this, calling this to maybe get quotation. And then, when I slept, I realized that, I wasn't productive. So, the scheduling of work, I'm not doing it out of that I'm disciplined, but I have to be disciplined in order to be productive in all spheres of my work.
I think that's a really nice distinction there. So what you're talking about is making sure that you're effective. It's great that you got all these amazing ideas, but what happens next?
Yes, because sometimes you get excited by an idea for just a week, and then it falls off. So maybe the thing to do, or at least I try to do, but I struggle at it, is that I'll keep an idea at bay and just see if it keeps coming back. And if it keeps coming back, I will see how I can, easily go into it.
That's how I decide whether I'm going to get a new tattoo or not. If the idea keeps coming back, then it's like, oh, okay, I'm going to do that.
Yeah.
Lots of the other crazy ones I don't do.
Yeah.
Now, I think that's a really useful tip for people, who are working professionally with creativity, about, having some kind of a structure. What else have you found really works for you when you're innovating and working with this stuff?
Just I think in just last month, I discovered a book called Who Not How. So I haven't read the book yet. It's written by Dan Sullivan, who's an executive coach. Like, I wasn't into sort of that, executive coaching thing. So Who Not How goes like, when you're a person with multiple ideas, or you're an entrepreneur at a maybe advanced level, some of these side projects you do not have to, like, it's who, not how. You don't have to learn how to do it. You can find out who can execute them for you. So beginning of this month, I've been doing that. So I, sometimes for certain things which I did in the past, but now really I've put it in as a structure into the things that I do. I would hire someone through Fiverr. Just this month, I'm bringing in someone to handle what I would call sort of side projects for me. To actually execute them. I don't know how it will go, but at least I'm not the one learning how to do all those things. Like, I remember years back, I would learn how to graphic design. I don't know, like, now it could be something else, but I don't need to learn that.
I mean, you're by training an accountant. This is not the kind of behavior we expect from accountants.
Yeah, I think I've always known that, I've got this sort of inclination for being a serial creator of products. In that, well, I went into accounting because I was good at it. That's more so. And my end of high school mark wasn't good enough for me to get into architecture. I think, what's the other one? Interior design. So accounting, like, I passed it with flying colors. Like, the commercial subject, like, I'm good at that. I know I'm good at that, and that's why I think I went into them. But the big inclination, I think, it's creating products.
Do you see a connection, a link between your abilities or what you've done with numbers, with accounting, bookkeeping, and what you do now as an entrepreneur and as a highly innovative person?
Sometimes yes, sometimes not. I don't know, like, where's the link, but like now I don't do any accounting work. Like I dread to do any sort of accounting work.
Like everybody else.
Yeah, or maybe writing a business plan. I've got my own formulations in terms of how I do certain things, but I don't know. Like I don't know if I see the link. I don't know. Maybe because I'm creative. Also, I like following around creative people, but also maybe the skill is that I'm able to link up with accountants and link up with sort of the creatives. I don't know. Like maybe it's a blurred line, but I don't necessarily see it. Maybe socially that's how it plays. I'm able to go in everywhere.
I think what I'm hearing is that because of your training or because of some aspect of your character, you're able to channel all of this like a huge amount of crazy ideas into actual stuff because you know how to do that. I think possibly your accounting training has given you a good grasp of systems and process, and you're able to run just about anything through that filter.
Yeah, I think school essentially gives you that, meaning you've got a test coming up, you have to make sure that you've studied, and then on the day of the test, when you write it, you are prepared. And I think maybe that's the structure. In that, homeworks, whatever, you have to do them. Like I think you have to be effective, like you said, in all you do. If you've got another idea, it has to come out. If not, then it just kills you inside. So I think maybe that's, like I said, it's a bit of a blurred line, but I sort of seeing it, or I'm rising to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, I also wanted to talk to you about this thing that a lot of your work now is squarely aimed at other entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
Why are you helping the competition? What's going on there?
I think I'm just following my creative juices. If I were to say the talent that I wish I could sing, I wish I could dance, but I can't do those things. But now I think I see my talent. My talent is sort of forming models of seeing things. Like my first book, Forget the Business Plan, use this short model. So I was just unhappy with the business plan after writing so many of them, and writing even for other people, saying, maybe here's a model. Let me create a model that will just sort of make it easier for me to run down a project in one page, which is a product, marketing, distribution. If the three of this have to give you cash flow, which is the fourth one. So this is simply like it's a simple model: product, marketing, distribution. It has to give you cash flow. If it's not, then maybe your product is wrong, maybe your marketing is wrong, or your distribution is wrong.
Why share it?
I mean, it's information. I can make money from it, and I've sold books over years, and then I've made money from it. Yeah.
But I get the feeling that's not why you're doing it.
I don't know. Like, I think again, I've got this skin of being educational. Hence, I've always been like I've started writing about entrepreneurship. I mean, I've started writing before I wrote about entrepreneurship. Before I used to write about development, economics, and politics. And then I just realized that the world works in funny ways for you to solve it at a grand scale or at a macro scale. So, and I was an entrepreneur at that point. I just thought, let me just write about my own experiences. And I've sold books, I've made books, I've sold books. I guess it's an income, and I love teaching. I guess,
advice, right? If you're going to write a book, you make sure you're pulling on your own experiences, because then people can feel that it's real. True.
Unlike when I was writing about politics and then economic stuff, I guess just making people angry at because politics have got that effect on people. So I realized this is not maybe a good use of my time, and I really know nothing about politics, because I'm not in that game.
Fair enough. Now, so you've got a pretty cool offer for everybody who's attending the summit this year. So can you tell us about the lead magnet, the giveaway that you've got for us that people can link to from below this video?
So I've got a free booklet called How to Start a Business Simply and Easily. Well, I guess you'll get it through the link. It's like normally we think we need a lot of money to start a business, but then if you put a lot of money into a business, if you fail, you fail big. So the thing is that you don't need it really a lot, and I think it's the easiest time in history to to start a business. You can sell online. You don't need a brick and mortar store. If you, for example, you're doing a clothing label, you don't need to produce 100 units. You can just do 5 units and test it out. And then if you sell those 5 units, it means at least you've got something viable. So the book basically just shows people that you don't need a lot to start a business. It's actually ideal and to your convenience financially to start in small packages and test it out. I remember when we started our clothing label, Gavel Heights, we did a lot of t-shirts. And first week we were selling a lot of them. And then people said, yo, your t-shirts are shrinking. So and rather had we maybe made like 3 t-shirts, it would have been easier. Yeah, so we would have known that, okay, there's material that shrinks, or you need to treat material before you go get it cut, made, and trimmed.
Thanks, Tiisetso. I think that's a really good piece of advice for creative entrepreneurs to end on. Thank you so much for your time and for being part of the summit this year.
No, thanks, man. I think I enjoyed, just sharing and, being led by your questions.
Cool. Thanks, Tiisetso.
All right. Thanks, man. Cheers.